From, I don't know where he is right now, Mel Waters. Mel, welcome to the program.
I'm here in the Pacific Northwest.
Somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. That'll do. First of all, it's great to hear from you, and I guess we heard from you, Mel, because, were you out somewhere when we did a rebroadcast of the original Mel's Hole thing?
Yeah, I guess this was last week sometime, and I was coming back from Nevada, and it turned out, I get a lot of rides from truckers.
Uh-huh.
You might find this interesting. I look a hell of a lot like Willie Nelson.
Do you?
And I mean, people will come up to me, and particularly truckers, and say, "Do you know you look like Willie Nelson?"
Well, no kidding.
And then I tell them, "No, I'm not Willie Nelson. I am Mel Waters."
And they know who you are?
Well, they know exactly who I am. And next thing you know, I've got 3 or 4 truckers standing around me, and we're talking. And
well, how do you get them to believe you? I once was out I've got an RV, Mel.
Yeah.
And we talked to truckers on CB, that's real handy when you're on the road. And I encountered some truckers, my wife and I did, and we were running with them. You do that. You kind of run in a pack. And they wouldn't believe it was me. They said, your name is Art? You're from, are you Art Bell? I said, yes, I'm Art Bell. They said, no, you're not.
I haven't had any problem with it. It's interesting. I guess a lot of the truckers that are listening to you aren't seeing you on your website, or so I guess they have no mental picture of you at all. So I think.
Well, I mean, even on the radio though, on CB, we were just talking to them on CB.
Oh, so they heard your voice.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
they would not believe it was me.
Oh.
They finally did, but it took about an hour. Anyway, Mel.
So we're heading back, and we're near Portland, and he turns on the radio, and I'm on the air. At first. I didn't believe I was, this is a dream. We've been on the road too long, and no, it was, and we were wrapping up the show there, and I decided, well, I'm heading back here. I had to see a doctor for a checkup here, and so I came up here, and I decided, what the heck, I'll bring the audience up to date here. I kind of left people dangling there at the end of.
Yeah, I got a lot of, hey, I'm dangling here. What's the story on Mel's Hole? Now, to bring everybody just very quickly, the 101, you had a piece of property in Washington.
Yeah, out near Ellensburg, Washington, the center of Washington State, up near the Monastash Ridge, which is sort of like the mountain range that runs along. Ellensburg is in the Kittitas Valley, and so you got a valley, you've got mountain ranges and ridges and so forth, and that's basically where the property is located out there.
Tell them what happened. Go ahead, tell them what happened.
What happened with the property?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Okay, we'll give you the nickel tour, as it were.
Thank you, good.
Okay. Basically, this was back in 97, so this was 5 years ago, almost,
yes.
that I sent a fax to the show here, and basically I described what I had done about this hole and how I lowered some fishing line into it because, quite frankly, for years and years and years and years and years, people were dumping stuff into the holes. I'm talking refrigerators. I'm talking dead animals. My favorite thing to toss in there was TV picture tubes. But no matter what we tossed in there, we never heard anything hit bottom.
Let me stop you for just 1 second. Mel, do you have a Bible?
Yes.
Go get your Bible. I'll wait.
I have the Bible right here, and I will...
You have it that handy?
Yes.
Place your hand on it, Mel.
It is right on the Bible.
Do you swear to me, with your hand on that Bible, Mel, that what you are telling me and about to tell me is the whole truth, the absolute truth?
Let us say the absolute truth.
We'll say the absolute truth. Cute. I'm sorry about the whole truth thing. The absolute truth, with your hand on the Bible. So help you God.
Yes, I do.
All right. Then let us proceed.
So
So you threw TV picture tubes down, but I mean, I remember cows going down and...
Yeah, so some people threw dead cattle out there. I had a little Mexican fellow that used to throw literally truckloads of tires down there.
And there was enough, the hole was big enough so that you could throw something down and you wouldn't hear it cascading off the side as it went down.
It was 9 feet across, and it had a retaining wall around the top of it, and the stone went down a bit, but as far as I can tell, as far as I could see...
No splash, no crash, no bang, nothing.
No, and it seemed to be, and it didn't look like it tapered. It looked, from everything that I could see.
It looked as wide as far as you could see.
It was a hole.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's further than I could see it tapered. I had no idea. But I figure if something tapered, eventually tapers down to nothing, and things start collecting.
Well, 9 feet in diameter, that's a big hole.
That's a good sized hole. That's 3 yards across. That's more than the average human being is standing up.
So you had something across the hole, right?
Yeah, we put some corrugated metal and stuff on top of it, kind of to secure it.
By the way, had you fenced the hole in? Was there any protection? Was there a sign up that said...
Beware of the hole? No.
Yeah, beware the hole.
Oh, that's I think would fall under the category of attractive nuisance. You start warning people, and that gets people enticed. So.
But how about protecting people? I mean,
again, that's what the corrugated metal on top was for. It was secured on there pretty good, so you can, you couldn't open this up without basically busting the mechanism open. And
so you began lowering fishing line into the hole from this centerpiece, right?
Yeah. First, I used to do a lot of shark fishing, so I had a couple of big fishing poles with a lot of line on them. And what I was curious about is to find out if there was any water down there. What the heck? So I lowered a big reel full of line into it, and had a roll of lifesavers on the bottom. The roll of lifesavers was simply because if it hit water, the lifesavers would dissolve.
Absolutely.
It would melt. Sure. It's an old fisherman's trick. So that's what I did. I lowered down. I emptied this reel. I assume there's about 500 yards of line on this particular reel there.
Right.
I did that with another reel, so I connected them up there, and I get down to about 3,000 feet, and same result. And then finally, I get kind of nuts about the whole thing there, so I went and bought basically monofilament in wholesale quantities. It's the kind of stuff that they fill the fishermen's reels with down at the sporting goods stores. You see, they have monster reels.
Giant.
So, basically I started lowering this stuff down there on a 1 pound lead weight into the hole.
By the way, did you have any help, or were you doing this all by yourself?
Well, no, the project was conducted by myself. I didn't have assistance or anything.
Yeah, it was your own property anyway, right?
It was my property. My wife was becoming estranged from me, so she wasn't hanging around or anything. I was just sort of out there at the property doing just to satisfy my own curiosity. And basically, at the point where I had reached 80,000 feet of line into the hole, and I had a little. I don't know, for lack of a better word, I had a little widget that kept track of. It's just like a little. It's like a mechanical digital counter, but it was made for measuring how much line goes down. So I knew exactly how much line I'd put into the hole at that point.
Which was
80,000 feet.
80,000.
8,000 times 10, or 80,000, 80,000 feet. Something like 15 miles of line went into that hole.
There are people who have questioned, you had a little weight, of course, on the end.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you had the weight of the line itself. Now, at some point, people say the line would be so heavy that you would have no idea whether you actually hit bottom or not.
Well, yeah, I would think so. And again, the only thing is I do recall I got back to you, and what I did is I actually measured the weight of the line in the hole. Okay, I had a little spring fisherman's scale put on the thing. And I believe I had somewhere with the weight on the bottom, between 17 and 18 pounds of weight attached to the top.
All right.
That's
that
what
would have been
there.
within the limits. All right.
I don't know. I mean, to me, I think about it now, and I think about what I've been through, and I think about all these things here. And I don't know what to make of any of this stuff. I don't know why. I mean, I know that. Well, didn't you have somebody talk about there drilling like these huge deep holes in Russia or something like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, you got your deep holes there. I don't know what the depth of a hole is. The hole there has been there for as long as anybody can remember. If you talk to some people there, they say, "Oh yeah, this was there," from my
There are people who say they are volcanic vents or whatever.
Could be.
It could be, but still, at 80,000 feet, no bottom to the hole. Now, this hole exhibited some, lack of a better term, paranormal aspects.
Well, yeah, and I believe what I had noted was that, my dogs wouldn't have anything to do with it. They wouldn't go anywhere near it.
Right.
Birds didn't mess with the retaining wall. It's the kind of place birds like to go. They didn't go anywhere near it. That there were people that told me various things that, when I talked to them about it, one man claimed he had thrown a dog that died into it, and at some point after that, he was out there hunting around up there in the hills, and he saw the exact same dog just going through the woods like it was hunting with somebody.
So the hole then brought the dog back to life.
Well,
is the idea.
Now here's the thing here. I said, well, did you call the dog back to you?
Mm-hmm.
And did it come back to you? He said it looked like it was hunting with somebody else. That's what he said.
Well, at least it was happy.
It was there on the same places where he had gone to.
Now, you believe so strongly in the powers of this hole, I know, that as one condition... Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. The government came and took your hole. That's what it comes down to.
There was quite a period of time there where, after the program, all hell had broken loose. And I was going back to the hole. I actually wasn't living when I had talked to you originally. I was not living on the property. We had just had a really major snowstorm, like 2 feet of snow in 24 hours, and most of my trailer buildings and stuff were all caved in on the property. So it was a real mess out there. Anyway, I'd taken an apartment in town, and so it was the next day or whatever. I go back there, and I'm driving up to my property, and even before I get anywhere near the property, I'm met by basically uniformed people who are telling me that there was a plane crash on my property that they have to investigate and clear the accident, and that I'm not to, they will let me know when I can come back.
Now, bear in mind, everybody, this was immediately after our broadcast.
Yeah. This is almost...
Nobody knew about the hole until the broadcast. Immediately after the broadcast, next day he goes back, and they're giving him this plane crash trash.
And I said, I'm no dummy. I'm looking around. I don't see any smoke. I don't smell any smoke, and I didn't see any evidence of what would be a plane crash. So I'm pretty much believing they're handing me a bill of goods.
Right.
And, I said, look, this is my property. I want to get onto it.
Mm.
And basically there were some threats made against me that, I was being told that it would be fairly easy for people to find a drug lab on my property there. I'm basically a man who deals in herbs and Native American herbal medicine.
So they're saying, like, back off, buddy, or we got
you. And what could I do?
Yeah.
What I had there, I suppose, could be construed as a drug lab. I don't know. But that's where it was.
Well, was it a real drug lab, or? Well,
I had the various plants that grow native in that area there. I had some plants that I brought up from Nevada growing over there, but none of these things are anything but plants that you would find growing in a high desert environment.
And there are a lot of psychedelic hallucinogenic plants.
I did not deal with anything like that.
Well, but that's normal. That's all over the desert. It may not be widely known, but it's the truth. There's all kinds of hallucinogens that grow naturally in the desert.
Oh, the people that know, and I've worked extensively with Native Americans, and they can walk through an area, and they can tell you everything.
Okay, so it's not like you had a meth lab up there or anything.
Yeah, that's what they were implying. It was
herbal stuff. All right. So they scare you the hell away. Then how did you come to make a deal with the government? How did that happen?
I have a hard time figuring out what led around here. But basically, I wasn't going to back off. I was talking to the press. You are the press, Art Mel. And so what they did is offer to lease my property from me in perpetuity for a very healthy sum of money. And I'm talking like $250,000 a month to have use of the property. Yeah, that's $3 million a year.
That's a lot of money.
And, I had agreed for them to let me relocate in Australia, a place that I love and actually wish I could go back to, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, you did, in fact, go to Australia because I had a couple of emails from you when you were there.
I would contact you from time to time there just to let you know I was okay.
And you were in Australia. Oh, I know that's true. So you had taken the money, and I figured you were probably sipping martinis in some nice Aussie outback location with lots of nice young
very
Australian, and just having a nice life.
Combing my beard and all that stuff.
So what the hell happened?
Well, and then I was doing well. I did a lot of good work over there. One of the things that I was allowed to do was to bring some of my plants with me.
They sent you. Did they send you the money?
Oh yeah, it appeared regularly in my account. I got the money, Johnny, on the spot. It was great. They allowed me to bring my dogs with me, which I don't know if you know about transporting dogs across the seas, but you normally can't bring dogs.
I know. Well, without quarantine for a long period of time.
They were not in quarantine. They just said, hey.
So they got you right past that.
They got me right through that. I got the red carpet treatment.
You were the king of the hole, no doubt about it.
That was it. I was living good. I was happy, and basically, doing fine, doing my work out there. Did a lot of work out there on wombat rescue and wombat restoration there. It was great.
How many $250,000 payments did they actually come through with?
Well, I was there from, I haven't tallied it up there, but I was basically there from March of 97 until right before the millennium. I mean, the year 2000.
The network vault of time information informed me that Mel Waters was originally on program February 21st of 1997, then again February 24th, 3 days later. Then he wasn't on until April of 2000. That would have been, when he came back to the U.S., so that's the timeline we've got. That sounds about right, Mel. So, they paid you, Mel, a lot of money. I mean, there were several payments of $250,000, right?
Oh, yeah. Just nice as every month it was there.
Well, what the hell happened to all the money?
Well, I'll tell you what happened, and I had come back in December of, what was it? I was on...
Would have been 2000. You were on April of 2000, so... 2001. Well, it says 2000 here. Maybe the timekeeper...
Okay, then it was right before the millennium.
Right.
Okay, so in 1990...
No, this was the millennium. I mean, 00.
In 1999, in December, I'd come back, and I actually contacted you to appear on the air.
Uh-huh.
I was in the USA, and I thought we'd just kind of...
Exactly.
Actually, it would have been a boring interview. It would have just been, how life was good in Australia and how wonderful things were. And blah, blah, blah. But everybody would know, hey, Mel's alive. He's doing okay. Basically, at that point, I was helping my nephew move from Tacoma to Olympia, and I would during the day before the interview.
Right.
And we moved him down there in a U-Haul truck, and I was driving the truck back, and I was going to take the bus back to Olympia. There was some strangeness that occurred on the bus. There was an altercation. There were, from what appeared to me, there were policemen and transit people that came over there. I was asked to give my statement. I said, no, I got to get back to Olympia, blah, blah, blah. I can't miss the last bus. They said, that's okay. You can talk to us. We'll drive you back in the van. That was the last thing I remembered, because when I had woke up, it was about 12 days later, and I was in a real seedy part of San Francisco, lying in an alley. These winos were basically trying to get me to sing on the road again.
Beaten up, as I recall.
I was bad. I had no teeth in the back of my mouth, no molars. They were gone.
A dentist, by the way, has since done some exemplary work for you.
Do you like that? He gave me some state-of-the-art adventures. They are wonderful.
So, I mean, you were abducted. You were beaten up. God knows what happened to you. You found yourself in San Francisco in a disaster. You have come back from that, obviously. But I still want to know, Mel, what the hell happened to all the money?
Well, what happened was that when I had gone back and I was with my nephew, I found out that I had been served with legal papers that said that basically the terms of my divorce with my former wife were basically had been canceled. I had lost my rights because of the various modifications that were made to the property after I was no longer using the property. Basically, septic systems were put in. There was various paving that was done and modifications that basically I was not allowed to do.
Right.
And so I no longer had any claim on that property. And that's basically where I'm left. So,
well, okay. Still, though, Mel, what about all the money you did receive? I mean, did you blow it on wine, women, and song, or what?
Well, again, when you have a lot of money, I mean, you could only eat so much food and drink so much good scotch.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
And I devoted a good deal of the money I had, one, for the research I was doing. That was my activity. And two, creating a facility for dealing with our wombat friends in Australia.
Yeah, I know you were very concerned about that. I remember you're writing about wombats.
I am so proud of them, because if you go now...
So your money went to the wombats, really?
The majority of it, but right after that, then I tried to access my money. My money wasn't there. I had sent emails to my colleagues in Australia. They said my whole facility was dismantled over there.
Oh, my God.
Everyone was given a severance check because I had various students and various people working for me there, because, you know, I'm not a veterinarian or anything like that. So, again, you can go through money, quite a bit of money there. And,
yes.
I was glad to do it. So there I am, you know, lying in the gutter, no teeth. My, you know, I could still see the tape on my arms where they had taped down an IV or some sort of thing to it. So I was out of it for the longest time, and I contacted my nephew, and he managed to get me a bus ticket back north.
Brother, talk about going from being a whole baron to absolutely...
Yeah, I had nothing.
Nothing.
And I kind of, that's kind of where I left everything when you know, we last talked.
Now, I know that you've had contact with the Native American community since you've been back. Is that right?
Oh yeah. In fact, that we will get into that, because that leads to part two of all of this. But
yeah, I know.
Kind of wrap things up. I wanted to bring up some things, because you probably noticed I was pretty ticked off that they'd stole my belt buckle.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I mean, and you know, amongst working with herbs and stuff, I'm kind of an itinerant jeweler as well, and I make things. And I went back to Ellensburg, and because I'd sold a number of these similar belt buckles at the farmers market and through little consignment jewelry stores in Ellensburg.
Right.
And so, sure enough, when I'm there, I run into a guy who's wearing one of my belt buckles. Now, and they were made with a silver fork, and yeah,
you'd know your own work, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were very unique, and this was kind of a little folk art thing, and I had.
What is the point, though?
Well, the point is that I kept on thinking, why would they take my belt buckle? Yeah. That was the thing. I mean, this was very personal item there that would, you know, I had another belt buckle on my belt. You see what I'm saying? Why take a man's belt buckle?
Makes no sense.
Yeah. So anyway, I run into this guy, and I says, hey, you bought one of my belt buckles? He says, oh, yeah, I love this thing. Anyway, so we take a look at it, and we're looking at it, and basically the motif on there is I had 3 coins, you know, that I had affixed to it in bezels.
Right.
There was a coin with Winston Churchill on it. There was a coin with Joseph Stalin, and there was a coin, dime, with Franklin Roosevelt.
Rather distinctive, yes.
Well, this was folk art representing the great conference that they had.
Gotcha.
You know. So we're looking at the coins there, and we're noticing there it is a 1943 Roosevelt dime.
Yeah.
Franklin Roosevelt was still alive in 1943.
That's a good point.
In 19...
You're sure?
Yes, absolutely sure. Absolutely sure. It was a 1943 dime.
Well, that just makes no sense whatsoever.
I found on my property, I'd cleared a land, I found that Nazi sort of gun there. It was a P-38 that I gave to the landlord as a deposit.
I recall, yes.
And we dig up all kinds of things, bits of metal and stuff like that. Well, I found one time I was digging around there and just rooting around, I found one of these red Chinese Lucky Money envelopes. You know, the kind of Chinese give it to each other on...
Yes.
On New Year's?
Yes.
And it had 10 of these dimes in it. So I got 10 dimes. I'm making, these belt buckles. I put one in each one there. So we're examining this dime here with this fellow in Ellensburg, and it struck us at the same time. I mean, when I told you 1943 Roosevelt dime, you thought, okay, well, it couldn't exist. We had a dime that there's no way it could exist.
Right.
But it looked just like your normal dime, but from 1943. And the only other thing that was kind of peculiar about it was that it had a B as in baby, mint mark on it. Now, we have S for San Francisco, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver.
Correct.
But I have no record anywhere of a B as in baby.
Or Boston.
Mark. Boston. Could be Boston. I don't know what it was, but I know of no B mint mark on a dime. So anyway, this guy is really curious. He decides to go see a big-time coin dealer about this coin. And he goes in there, and the coin dealer takes a look at it. He just is like, mouth is hanging open. I'm telling you, I'm relating the story from my buddy.
Okay.
He looks at this thing, and he's just flabbergasted.
But what I don't understand is how all this relates.
Well, it ties into why my belt buckle was taken.
Oh.
Because it had the same coin on there.
Oh. Now, are you fairly sure it was not the same belt buckle?
I had made a series of 10 of them. I made 10 a coin. I had 10 of those same coins.
I understand. So now, was this the same belt buckle?
No, it was one that he must have bought.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Would you have any way of knowing if it was the same one?
No. They were very. They were all custom made, so each one was a little bit different.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I would know for a fact it was not the one I wore every day of my life.
All right.
But he took it to a coin dealer, and the coin dealer was just amazed. He had he couldn't even begin to grasp what he was holding in front of him. He started telling him, I don't know, this could be a prototype.
Well, nothing explains it. I mean, time travel, what would explain...
But something created before Roosevelt would have even died. When they created that dime, they went to, they sped up the process to get a Roosevelt dime after he died. But there's nothing that explains it. The guy offered him a huge amount of money, the coin dealer. Here, I'm going to write you a very substantial check. You give me the dime. The guy says, let me think about it, okay? I'll give you my number. You give me a call, and I'll let you know what I think. Make a long story short, a day or two later, this guy is visited by Treasury officials there who said they have to confiscate this coin from him for some legal reason or another, so they took the coin away from this.
Should have made the deal the day before.
He should have made the deal.
So somehow, do you remember where you got these coins?
Yeah, they were on my property.
They were on the property. Showed up laying on the property?
No, I was actually digging around there, because I turned a lot of dirt over there to plant stuff and grow things there. And
I think about this, and nothing explains it. I mean, time travel would not explain it.
The only thing that I even began to think about, it's like over the years I didn't pay attention to it, but it was like, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but in the middle of every intersection, on the road,
yes,
there's always a little pile of nuts and bolts if you drive by, you'll notice them.
Yeah.
Little springs right in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah.
Stuff that falls off of cars.
Right.
And it seemed to me like that property was like that. All kinds of odds and ends were over there. I mean, why would I find an old...
Well, it's strange that you would mention all of this now. I remember you're telling the story of your belt buckle being gone, but you didn't go into the detail about your belt buckle before.
No, because I didn't know the significance of it. I just looked at it as a couple of old silver dimes.
So now suddenly you relate it back to the hole and the property.
Exactly.
I see.
Exactly. So I got this. So that kind of explains why the buckle would be taken from me.
I suppose so. It might be proof of
something other than
who
it
knows
should be.
what. Yeah.
But that happened over there. And I just wanted to bring it up today. I haven't been able to track down my former wife at all. I mean, she is just like vanished. I don't know where she is. I don't know what name she's going under. I have no idea.
All right. Here's a question for you, Mel.
Yeah.
The military obviously still is in possession of your property. Yes.
Well, we have been saying military. We have been saying government.
Whatever, whoever they are, they've got it, right?
There is someone in possession of the property, yes.
So if a person were to go to this property, they would be halted or stopped before they could go on and make any sort of investigation or whatever, right?
I'm going to assume a number of things, since I have not actually gone anywhere within 5 miles of the property since then, that there's a chain link fence around it. There's probably a sign that says, agricultural research, do not enter, or something like that. That's what I'm going to assume. Okay? I'm also going to assume that what it looked like when I owned it or had it in my possession, it doesn't look like it now. I will also clue everybody into one thing. Art, are you familiar with the Terra server?
Yes, that's
the satellite imagery.
Yes, you can get satellite imagery of almost any spot on Earth.
Okay, you go to the Terra server.
Yes. And
you go see the pictures where my property is in the Monastash.
All right. Well, why don't you tell us how to do that? In other words, what specific photograph are we looking at? There should be a number or something.
Well, yeah, I don't have that handy, but if you found Ellensburg,
yes,
and you zoomed out. So the picture got smaller.
Right.
You will see where my property is, and it's very easy to see where it is.
And how would we identify it?
Because it has been expunged.
What do you mean?
Those pictures do not appear on the satellite server. The ones taken in June of 2000.
Well, instead, where your property ought to be, what do we see?
2 white squares.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. You go to Terra server. That's provided by Microsoft. I'm not going to give any URLs.
No, a lot of people know how to do it.
And look up Ellensburg.
Right.
Zoom out.
Right.
So you get and then you will see over where the Monastash Ridge is.
Yes.
My property blanked out. Actually, quite a bit. There's quite a few.
Wow.
So that is, you don't have to go by what I say.
No. Listen,
you can look at it yourself.
Trust me when I tell you, one of my listeners, within the hour, I can guarantee will find the exact photograph you're talking about, if it exists.
Yep.
Send me the URL, and or send Keith the URL, and we'll get it up and take a look. And you're claiming
it's not there.
But
it has been expunged.
Well, expunge away they might, but that still would identify the exact location.
Well, it still covers a lot of ground there. But where it is, and I assumed that because this picture was taken in 2000. Okay, I believe it was in June or something of 2000.
Right.
That there's been a lot of differences made in that area. And none of these... See, you get a really good picture on the Terra server.
Oh, well, yeah, pretty good.
You could basically see a car on the road with the Terra server.
Yeah.
That's from the satellite. So, I mean, you would see a hole. You would see outbuildings.
All right. Let's direct people again. Let's say it again. So listeners who want to go to Terra server right now and help us out, tell them where to go again.
Look up Ellensburg, Washington.
Then?
And then you just zoom out on the town until you see the the white squares where my property would have been.
And that would be exactly...
on the Monastash Ridge.
All right, there's a good piece of evidence we can go hunting for.
Just go there, but whoever controls the satellite and releasing it to the terror server people, decided not to let them have these pictures.
Oh, isn't that something?
Okay.
So
I mean, every listener can do this. I mean, you know, I've had, you know, people want to go out there, and the only thing I tell them is don't go there. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to you. I don't know what people will do to you.
Going to be nothing but grief of one sort or another.
I mean, it's these guys to go to Area 51.
You know that people have made treks to find Mel's hole.
I right now I tell you, look, you know, it's there. Don't go there. You don't have to go there. It's there. But don't go there on my account. I don't want to be responsible for anybody. Anyway, so that was some, you know, that's kind of like, you know, bringing this into focus here. Okay,
it brings us certainly up to date. Yes,
and you know, I had a couple of other interesting things. These things are kind of loose ends, but they're not loose ends.
All right, you're going to have to hold on.